Welcome to City Issues, a series of discussions with Mayor Randy McClement and key city staff, designed to provide useful information on a variety of city topics and answer some common questions. I'm Patti Mullins, Public Information Coordinator for the City of Frederick, and this is City Issues.
It's sort of transportation park. It's a multimodal ability to get people.
A series of discussions with Mayor Randy McClement. The city has put a high value on environmental conservation and sustainable living, and out of that value have come many bicycle and pedestrian transportation, safety, and capacity initiatives. Tim Davis, a planner with the city, has taken the lead in that area as an avid, dare we say fanatic, supporter of bicycling and pedestrian opportunities. He serves as staff to the Bicycle Pedestrian Advisory Committee and is always on the lookout for the next best way to help the city offer transportation options that do not require automobiles. I'm here with Mayor Randy McClement to discuss with Tim Davis about some of the ongoing and recently completed projects to make the City of Frederick bicycle and pedestrian friendly. Welcome.
Thanks, Patty. Welcome, Tim, fanatic bicyclist Davis. We appreciate you being here today.
Thank you, bike-friendly mayor.
This is a great opportunity to talk about pedestrian and bicycle access and abilities within the city. We have said for a while that we strive to be a bike-friendly city, and this is our opportunity to be able to tell a lot of our residents some of the things that are going on and some of the things we've done, some of the things that are coming up. So with that, tell us what over the past years, what has the city done to become more active in the bike and pedestrian world?
Well, the League of American Bicyclists always talks about the key to being a bike-friendly community is to have leadership. And your office and the aldermen have displayed tremendous leadership in letting these projects go forward. So we started out with the ad hoc committee, which was the committee that serves at the pleasure of the mayor, and it was just for bicycles, and that was in 2010. And in 2012, we got honorable mention. That was the goal, was to get some sort of recognition from the league. Then it was decided that given the success of the ad hoc committee, let's make it a bona fide city committee, and one that not only catered to bicyclists, but also to pedestrians. Those two modes are very important for the quality of life for our community. So in 2015, we received bronze designation. And then again in 2016, we received bronze again.
What do you think are some of the key factors that the league considered that has bumped us into those bronze levels? Tell us about some of the things that the city has added.
Well, having the Citizen Advisory Committee is really important. And following the guidance from the league, which is the 5 E's, education, enforcement, evaluation, engineering, and encouragement. One of the tools that we've used to encourage cycling in the city is what we call the Frederick Bicycle History Loop, developed by our committee, and actually won an award with the Maryland Municipal League as a tool to encourage people to stay the night in the city. There's also other things that we do regarding enforcement. There are enforcement days that the police spend on the streets in downtown handing out pamphlets that we receive from the Council of Governments. And they also hand out these pamphlets from the State Highway Administration that not only talk to bicycle safety as it relates to cars, but cars being conscious of bicycles. Sometimes we hear more and more, as we should, about what's known as the 3-foot rule, and it's a new law that's in effect that says that the bicyclist must be 3 feet from a car, and the car must be 3 feet from the bike. So those are some of the things that you get to get the designation. We have and here's our actual plaque that we have that designates us as a bronze-friendly community. Now that's through 2019, and we can change that. We can get that silver designation quicker. You can apply anytime in the spring or the fall for the designation. So,
when people hear a lot, they probably hear a lot the word shared use path. Can you explain a little bit what that actually means and how that is incorporated into the city?
Sure. The shared use path plan for the city is about 22 total miles of off-street pathways that bicyclists and pedestrians can safely ride on and not have to be integrated into traffic. There's really only about 4% of the people that bicycle that are comfortable riding on the street. So that means there's 96% of the population that has the opportunity to ride on a shared use path. So that's why they've become so much more integrated into our communities. And they're built two ways. Developers, they want to build them in their communities now as an amenity for the home buyers. And then we take up the spots that are not built by the developers, sometimes in our parks and sometimes alongside our roadways. Monocacy Boulevard, for example, has a nice 10-foot shared use path that runs alongside of it. And we just completed the largest infrastructure project in the city's history for bicycle and pedestrian safety, and that's the shared use path undercrossing over that linked Baker and Waterford Park together now, and we're very excited about that. And what's next? Well, we've got plans for next stuff, and we've got money coming in from the Maryland Department of Transportation to do the Rails to Trails project. Now this piece that we're going to do next year is solely south, so the rail line that runs along East Street, will convert that into a shared use path. Then the next stage will extend the path from behind Wegmans all the way up to Mill Island. And our Bicycle Advisory Committee is looking at how we can link that shared use path to Wegmans, and then how to link it best to the neighborhood in Mill Island. So those are things that are really important to the path plan. And the last element of that is a bridge over Maryland 26. And in fact, Patti, the mayor, I think it was probably when the Motter Avenue project was going on,
yep,
he spotted that you could buy old railroad cars at an extreme discount. And so we got to talking about it, and he said, how cool would it be for a railroad shared use path to have a bridge that's made out of old refurbished railroad cars? And now that may not be the end all, but it's a great idea. And communities have a way, when it comes to bridges, of making something out of a bridge that says, oh, I've arrived in Frederick, or, oh, when you go under that bridge that's made out of whatever, that's when you know you're leaving Frederick, or vice versa. When you go under that really cool bridge on 26, you know you're in the city. So those are things about the bridges of a shared use path system that are really cool that you can have in a community. We may have a design contest for it. We're a little ways out, and they're not cheap, so we have to plan for that for the future.
Are bridges the most expensive piece of the process usually?
But tunnels are fairly expensive too. But yeah, either of those two things are the lion's share of the cost. The actual paths, as long as it's fairly flat, which most of our communities are, they're not entirely too expensive. And there's some lines of thinking that say, the more shared use paths that you build in your community, the less lanes you have to add to your roads, because more people are taking alternative modes of transportation.
So what organizations are helping the city with this? Are there nonprofits, or is it just the city taking the lead on this? Are there citizen advisory groups, or?
We work very consciously to include the neighborhood advisory councils in decisions that we make, to include groups that are independent of the city government, like the Frederick Area Committee for Transportation, FACT. Also the county designated Transportation Services Advisory Council. Those organizations have been very supportive over the years and have worked with us on these things. The Maryland Department of Transportation has been terrific. We received, for that undercrossing project, we received more than $300,000 from their Bikeways program. They've kicked in $500,000 for the Carroll Creek project, and the Transportation Alternatives grant that will be awarded later this year for the rail trail project is $500,000, and the entire Washington metropolitan area was given $1.1 million, and Frederick got $500,000. So the outside folks in government, the granting agencies, know what we're doing and support what we're doing, as do these other organizations. So Patti, yeah, I mean, everybody's working together for the City of Frederick, I can tell you that.
One of our original goals, in reference to becoming a bike-friendly city, was to look at bike lanes, a way to share not only the road with cars, but with bikes, and to give some sort of designation on the roads where bikes could go. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how we incorporated that and where it's gone to?
Sure. So the first location, we called it a pilot program, was to put a bike lane on 7th Street. The reason that we chose 7th Street was that we had the city's largest employer, Fort Detrick. We had the Frederick Memorial Hospital, whose, their mantra is heart healthiness. And then you have Hood College, where the kids ride bikes. They have a bike sharing program there. So with 7th Street, we were collecting data all the way back to 2008 as to how much bicycle activity was going on. And in 2011, we installed the bike lanes. And so you can see that from 2011 up to last fall, the numbers have just precipitously gone up. Not dramatically, but gone up. So we see that the choice of that location as a pilot was a good one.
Thank you for telling us about all the initiatives, and a lot to look forward to, it sounds like.
Thanks, Tim. We appreciate you providing this information.
It's my pleasure. Thank you very much.